in my eye.
Okay.
So I go see this retina specialist.
Yeah.
And he puts these drops in your eyes.
Yeah.
And it just makes everything really blurry. I can barely see that.
Aren't you afraid of walking outside right now then?
Well, I'm just walking the next block. My wife works in the next block.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see I got 20/20 vision. The drops she puts in my eyes every time I go there. Right?
Yeah.
I don't have to go far.
All right. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I noticed yesterday most of the dandelions in the field changed, so I thought I'd try to get some shots of that. Although it's still kind of windy, it's been hard to try to get the lower level shots, like a steady one anyways. I guess things like the flying taxi is going to become a reality soon, huh? It says, check out the Uber Air flying car that will transport passengers of the future. At its second Elevate Summit this week, Uber is revealing new concept images that shed light on what's hoping will be the flying cars that carry passengers in the future. The concepts show 4 propellers around the aircraft that will allow it to take off the ground. A single rotor on the tail will move the flying car forward. Passengers will sit in the middle of the aircraft and up front, and a pilot will carry the passengers, up to a maximum of 4, to their destinations. I guess even for flying recreational drones, like to take videos and stuff, often people say they're concerned about the propellers. It says the ECRM design is pedestrian friendly, as the propeller blades are as high as possible, leaving ample room for individuals to board and deplane without having to duck. Uber said in a statement on Tuesday, the high placement of the wings provides shaded entry into the cabin, shields riders from light rain as they board. I believe the way it works too, from what I read, is you'll first take a regular, I guess, car or an Uber car. It will drive you to a specific location, and then from there you'll board this plane and you'll take off from there. So it's not exactly like from what I thought before, it's like flying cars or whatever on the actual road. Not yet. And there's supposed to be some kind of upcoming announcement with this. It says US will reportedly announce winners of drone program that drew interest from several tech companies. And it says it's including companies like Amazon, Apple, and Qualcomm. It says at least 200 major tech companies and aerospace companies have applied to take part in the drone test that the US will announce on Wednesday. Essentially, the program will allow for a broader range of tests than what's usually allowed by federal aviation regulators, including flying drones at night, beyond an operator's line of sight, and above people. So I guess a practical way of thinking about it, it's kind of like if it was Amazon, I believe they went to places like the UK or something like that to do things like the drone deliveries, just because the restrictions are so much higher, like in the US. So this will allow them to actually do it if they get approved. So I guess that's just one way to evolve, again, people using the tech in a good way. Although again, makes me wonder what's going to happen to the recreational flyers, if they will be more restricted or not. Okay, let's try this. I think this was the most interesting story I read today though. Ontario woman arrested, jailed in US for driving with a Canadian license. She says, quote, "It was the most horrendous incident in my life," says the 27-year-old grad student. An Ontario woman is looking for an apology from the Georgia police officer who arrested, handcuffed, and charged her because she was driving with a Canadian license. So from the way this story goes, to my understanding, she was driving in the US with a legitimate Canadian license and everything like that. But apparently she was speeding, and so I guess the police officer pulled her over and asked for your ID and everything like that. And apparently she had a Canadian license, so I guess when they looked at it, they're like, this isn't valid, like for whatever reason. Like it says here, quote, "She kept saying, 'No, Canadian license are not accepted,' said Neil. I was flabbergasted. I just kept saying, this can't be right. A Canadian license is always valid." And apparently she told the CBC that she was then asked to prove she was a Canadian, and although she had copies of her passport, Nexus card, and birth certificate on her phone, the officer wanted to see an original hard copy. I believe from what she said, she left the passport in the hotel or something like that. I think most people do that, like usually when they go visit the place. Basically, you don't want to carry it with you in case you lose it there, then what happens, right? And it says, "When I failed to produce it, she reached through the window of my car and she put handcuffs on me. She told me that I have just been arrested for driving without a license and I needed to go to jail." In the back of the officer's cruiser, Neil managed to take a video on her cell phone and send it to her friends on Snapchat. And then because of that, basically the video went viral, and that's how people got attention of it. And it says, she said the police told her that she would remain in jail until her court appearance on June 12th unless she paid an $880 US bond cash, which she didn't have. That's something the Cook County Sheriff's Office denies. They say that is not correct. It said in a statement late Monday, Georgia law states that any individual who is arrested on non-warrant is entitled to a first appearance hearing to be advised of their rights and bonds within 48 hours of arrest. I don't know if that's true, so maybe people in the US would know. Apparently everything's getting fixed though, so no harm done. I guess it's just a traumatic experience, that's what we want to say. Although I guess it's kind of interesting that she was actually able to use her phone and Snapchat it with handcuffs on her. I would have thought when you get arrested like that, they take all your positions and everything like that. As to what she's asking for now, it says in the meantime, she wants the Cook County Sheriff's Office in Georgia to be held accountable so it doesn't happen again. At least with the officer who arrested me, I would love to see a formal reprimand, said Neil. That way she can learn that is not right. An apology is what I would love the most. I don't know, who's right and who's wrong in this case? Like, is that proper for the officer to take it to that extreme? I would have thought they would have a database or something like that, like entering the number or something like that to check it to see whether or not they are legitimately who they say they are. But again, she was caught initially because she was speeding, but does it warrant going through all this? Interesting topic. Would you be personally cool about people FPV flying here?
Doesn't breathe? No.
Whoa, holy smoke, what was that?
It's like, oh no, I like people more. How old is he or she?
She's 8 years old.
Oh wow.
How old is yours?
He's 5 years old.
5?
Yeah.
Whoa! What is that?
He's like a little bit overly cautious when dogs follow
Is
him
it?
from behind. Yeah. Have a good one.
Holy smoke.
Holy smokes.
Like I came prepared for the rain. Okay, see you guys later.